Hey guys, welcome back to more political chatter. This video is an alternate history video. We haven't done these in a while. I used to a lot, and now we are back to it. So this alternate history is a 2020 presidential election alternate history video. If Andrew Yang had won the Democratic nomination for president. So there he is, Yang as the Democratic nominee. I think he would have chose another outsider, such as Marianne Williamson, to be his running mate. Her, possibly Tulsi Gabbard, maybe even, probably not Mike Gravel, but someone along those lines. Someone who's not part of the establishment. And then we have Donald Trump and Mike Pence. Of course, now Pence wouldn't be his running mate, but in 2020 he was. So we're going to see how well Yang and Williamson would have done against Trump and Pence. So starting off with safe Democratic states, I think that Yang would have done better than Biden because of his appeals, because of his appeal across the country, and we'll get to it. I mean, in the Rust Belt especially. Remember he was more of a unifier. He ran a unifying campaign. According to polling, he was like one of the two Democratic candidates who was polling at 15% among likely Trump voters. Biden was not one of them. I believe it was him and, was it Tulsi Gabbard? I'm not sure. Him and someone else. But really every safe Biden state would go to him by a safe margin. California, Oregon, Washington, Hawaii, Illinois, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New York, Maine's first, would all be safe for him. I think that Colorado would be safe. A lot of progressives here. Biden won it by 13 points. I think that Yang would have been able to expand on that. I do believe that Colorado would have been safe. That's going to be it for safe Yang states. And for safe Trump states, Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska at large. Nebraska's third. Really, Nebraska's first. I don't see Yang doing as well as Biden did in Nebraska's first. Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, West Virginia, Indiana. That's going to be it. We have to remember we're talking 2020 here. So, safe states, that puts Yang at 191 electoral votes. That puts Trump at 103. Obviously, Yang currently has the edge. So, going into likely Yang states, let's do this. So, these will be states that are decided by 5 to 15%. Maine at large would be one of them. Biden won it by likely margin. It's going to be a similar vote tally. Never mind, he's going to do a lot better than Biden here, but it wouldn't quite be a 15% margin for Yang. But he would do very well in the state of Maine, particularly the 2nd district of Maine. New Hampshire, he will do well in. A lot of white working class voters in New Hampshire. That is what Yang needs to win. That is what he would win if he was the nominee. A lot of these white working class voters, a lot of which are struggling. The universal basic income would appeal to them greatly, along with people of color. I know New Hampshire is a horrible state for that, but if we're talking other states, people of color who are typically economically less fortunate than Caucasians are going to be in favor of a universal basic income. That is what Yang was all about, a UBI. And he will get a lot of support from white working class voters, but also people of color. So Yang will have a lot of support across the board. Virginia will be likely. I don't think I need to talk about that one too much. Along with New Mexico. New Mexico won't be safe as Colorado is because it is more of an establishment state for the Democrats. Not really a state that's going to veer off and vote for an anti-establishment candidate. That's going to be it. Well, honestly, no, it's not going to be it. I believe that Michigan will be a likely state for Andrew Yang. A lot of people of color here and a lot of white working class voters, a lot of blue collar workers. Yang will do very well in the Rust Belt, spoiler alert, because these are the places that were economically struggling. These cities across the Rust Belt are going down because of robots, because of automation stealing their jobs. And in 2016, what did Trump say? Trump said, "It's the immigrants. I will bring you back your jobs." And what do we know? Ohio flipped to Trump. Iowa flipped to Trump. Wisconsin flipped to Trump. Michigan flipped to Trump. Pennsylvania flipped to Trump. All these places started voting for Trump because he said, "I have the solution, it's the immigrants," and he blamed it on the immigrants. Well, Yang, he's actually giving a real problem and real solutions to these robots. He will do very well in the Rust Belt. Michigan being one of those states. Biden won it by 3. He'll win it by a lot more than 3. Pennsylvania and definitely Minnesota, okay? I don't think I need to go down too much. Went to Biden by, I think, 7 or 8 in 2020. But Wisconsin, I think, would go to Yang by around 5%. I mean, so many of these Trump voters are going to vote for Andrew Yang. An insurmountable amount of them will be switching to Yang. They voted for Trump in 2016. They are going to vote for Yang in 2020. Pennsylvania, I'm not quite sure about because it's not as working class as Wisconsin and Michigan are. So I'm going to leave that one for now. And that's going to be it for likely Yang states. On to likely Trump states. Where should we start? Montana. I mean, if we're being realistic, it's not going to be safe. I went to Trump by 16 and 20. Yang is going to do a lot better than Biden here, as it is a moderate state. Yang is a moderate on most issues, and a lot of voters in Montana and Kansas, I'll do Kansas now, will be very open to voting for Andrew Yang. Alaska has a universal basic income, so Yang's idea, is going to be very popular among them as they know it works. However, not gonna quite be a lean margin just quite yet. That's gonna be likely for Trump. Going down to Texas, I think Yang is going to do just as well as Biden, if I'm being honest. I mean, sure, he'll do very well with people of color, but if we're being realistic, is he going to do that better than Biden with people of color? That's the question, and I think that Trump would be able to hang on to it by likely margin. South Carolina also, the people of color thing. He's going to do well with them, but how much better than Biden? Trump won it by 11. I don't see that one really going anywhere too crazy. And that is going to probably be it. Yes, it is. So we're on to lean states. So these states will be decided by 1 to 5%. The first state is the state of Pennsylvania. I think that Yang would be able to carry the state of Pennsylvania pretty close to being likely. I mean, not as many blue-collar workers as in Wisconsin and Michigan, but still, a lot of white working-class voters. He'll drive up the African-American vote in in urban areas. I think that he won't have much trouble winning the state of Pennsylvania. I think that Maine 2nd is a district, not a state, but a district that went to Trump in 2020 that would go to Yang in 2020 had he run. Biden didn't even make it close. It went to Trump by 8% in 2020. And Yang is definitely going to be the favorite to win in Maine 2nd, as it's very much an outsider state. All of Maine, they want outsiders, especially Maine 2nd District. If you don't know, Ross Perot did very well in Maine 2nd District. He was an independent running in 1992 and 1996. He did well both years. So, whoops, I forgot a likely state, Nebraska 2nd. But he did very well. They like outsiders. I think that this one would flip to Yang. That's the no, not the first flip. Never mind. Lenient Yang states. The state of Arizona. I mean, if not likely, they went to Biden because he was a moderate. They would like Yang even more. I mean, they aren't voting for Trump. Yang would be extremely popular here. I think that he would be able to carry it by almost 5%. A lot of people of color in the state of Nevada. He'll drive up that vote there. I think he would definitely carry the state of Nevada. He's, in good, or I don't know, but definitely a state where he could win. Given the demographics and everything, especially saying that Hillary won by 2.4% in 2020. Going down to, that's going to be it, actually. So on to lean Trump states. Lean Trump states. Iowa's one. It is a white working class state, but it's just too Trumpian. It's too Republican to go to Donald Trump. I think they're really stuck in their ways. In Iowa right now, looking at 2020, how Biden fared, I don't see it happening for Yang in Iowa. That's going to be it for lean Trump states. On to tilt states. So these four, Ohio, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, I believe would all be decided by less than 1%. So very close states. I think that Trump would carry the state of Florida by a tilt margin. Looking at how Biden did, he lost it by 3. And even though Yang would do better than Biden, Florida's just too Trumpian for it to happen. I think that Trump would win in Florida. But I think that Yang would very narrowly carry the state of Georgia. With his UBI policy, Biden only won because of African-American votes, that vote being driven up in Atlanta, Savannah, or Fulton County, other places, Cobb County, and Yang with his universal basic income policy, as I said, I think that he would do very well here with those voters, and win a lot of white voters. I think that it would be enough for him to very narrowly carry the state. North Carolina, I don't see it happening. They've been Republican for a while now, and Trump was popular there, authorized presidency. I think that that's a tilt margin for Trump, just by an extremely narrow margin. I think that looking at how J.D. Vance, the Republican, did in 2022 and how Trump did in 2016 and 2020, I think that Yang would just fall behind just a little bit. But because of those white working class voters, I think he would make it extremely close. So, final vote tally, Yang 304, Trump 232. So, wow, this is actually, I just realized, this is almost the exact same map as it was in 2020. The only exception being Maine's 2nd congressional district. So Yang does 1 electoral vote better than Biden. But if we're looking at margins, he does much better in the Rust Belt. Much, much better in the Rust Belt than Joe Biden. So thank you all for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. And I hope to see you all next time.